Kia ora everybody, I think it is time that we talk about tools. Not just our two hands as a weaver, we do need them obviously, but we do need a couple of other tools that I have mentioned before but not in so much details. So I'll show you what I've got in my toolbox. Everybody else got different things in their toolboxes, but I'll show you what I use most. Rightio, here we go. My number one tool is obviously a knife. I use a Stanley knife for a couple of reasons, mainly because it's got a retractable blade, which makes it safe, and I can replace the blades as well once they're blunt. So that's your number one tool. Second most important thing is a pair of good scissors. Now, as I mentioned before, don't you use these sort of things around the kitchen or around food or other things. They are your weaving tools, so they should stay your weaving tools. So those are your two main tools. Then we're coming into the typical weaving tools. I've got a marker. This is 1.2 centimeters. This is the one that I use most often. I have smaller ones. This is only 1 centimeter. And I've got a bigger one, homemade for pew pew. That is probably 2 centimeters. It's just an old cork and 2 needles. Some people use shearing combs. This one is set in a bit of wood. I don't personally like them because their edges, as you can see, are much wider, so they tend to shred the leaf. But if you feel like, and you can get them, that's also 1.2, which we call a normal marker. So every time you hear me referring to a normal marker, that's the 1.2 centimeters. And half of that width would be something along the lines of this, and that is called a whakairo marker. So you've got those. Then another handy tool are combs, pet combs, ordinary pet combs. I like the ones set in metal. They last longer, even though this one looks already pretty worn out. And then you can use wider ones as well. These are for combing your margins when you need handles, etc. So use those. Another very handy tool, especially if you are a beginner, a couple of pegs. I have a lot of them in my toolbox, but so you probably get away with about 20 of them for starters. Then something that is very handy for tight weaves, a couple of pliers. So you can use them to pull strips through or tighten things when they don't have the length that you want. Got those. Another little handy tool is a crochet hook. Same thing, you can pull things through tight spots, especially if you're doing kite whakairo. Last but not least, an emergency spray bottle. Now you should have a bigger one like this, but if you're going to raranga or somewhere else where you have an issue with space, a little one like that will do, and you can fill it up as you go. And another thing that I love to have is a tape measure. Either one like that or one that has inches, because sometimes people want specific sizes, especially if you're looking at pew pew, and you need to be able to measure them. So that should be in your toolbox as well. And so I've made my toolbox. It's just a ordinary kite with some handles. You can use whatever you like. On that note, there is also some interesting literature that you should have. Rightio, so if you are a beginner, this would be the one. Te Mahi Kite by Mick Pendergrast. A lot of people started weaving with this book. So it got a lot of tips, it's very interesting, and it gets you on the right path. So that's number one. The other one, as the name suggests, Fun with Flax. Really good read. It's good for kids too, if you want to have a kids weaving weekend or anything like that. If you become more interested in flowers, Ali Brown, you can order this one of her directly on her website, www.alibrown.co.nz. It's just flowers and it's amazing. You wouldn't believe how many flowers you can make with flax. And my personal Bible, it's out of print at the moment, but you might still get it, is Raranga Whakairo, also by Mick Pendergrast. And that is the pattern book. So when people ask me where do I get the patterns from, out of this book. I don't come up with them any other way. I don't hold any copyright to them. They come all out of this book. So those are the main books you can possibly want and need if you want to continue weaving. There are some others, but these are the main ones. Happy weaving, everybody.